Good evening and welcome to the Fox Den. I am Gina B in the place to be, P. Fox, the paranormal princess herself, Gina Bankston. And with me is my beautiful butterfly babe, the magical, the mystical Mama D. And we are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to bring you a variety of guests to entertain you and to help you in any way we possibly can. Thank you for joining us, and please share our feeds. Good evening, everybody. I am here by myself just for a little bit to get you guys to start coming in. The actual radio show will be starting in about a minute, and my co-host and my guest are waiting in the background, and I'm going to do a little intro video as soon as the show starts. And I hope you guys are excited as much as I am to have Derrien on here, because this book, yes, I know you guys know I did hurt my back reading a book, but you know what? I couldn't stop reading, and I was sitting in my chair because I was reading on my computer. But now I'm going to get the hard copy so I can read in a more comfortable chair.
Your show will go live in 5
seconds. It's going to be great.
4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
And again, good evening, everybody. I am Gina B. I am going to show you a short video about who our guest is tonight. Good evening, everybody. I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Fox Den. Tonight, we have born in Connecticut and raised in the Midwest, Derrien Relyea. She grew up fascinated with mythology, Viking lore, and dragons. Her vivid imagination was kindled by her highly creative family, encouraging a love of writing and fantasy. She worked her way through Oklahoma City Community College with degrees in occupational therapy and therapeutic recreation, and later she graduated from the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center with a degree in physical therapy. Taking her cue from an exciting genealogical history and such authors as Anne McCaffrey, Edgar Rice Burroughs, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, she embarked upon a new adventure in her life. She created the Dark Legends series. Elves, sprites, dragons, and the Fae join the rising resistance with Dark and the warriors of the Dragon Clan. Love, hate, betrayal, loyalty, mystery, intrigue, and epic battle scenes, with swords slashing and fangs flashing combined with realistic characters amidst the struggle to survive in this adult fantasy series loved by both men and women. Compared by readers to the likes of Anne McCaffrey and J.R.R. Tolkien, the Dark Legends series are The Black War Begins, Death of Life, Search for the Wide-Rich, and now Battle of Winter's Edge. Let's find out more about her mystical, magical realm. Welcome, Derrien. Hello, Derrien. Hi, Mama D.
Hi. How are you? Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, first things first, I need to say that I am so totally stoked that the heroine, the main character, the big boss of this book is a redhead.
Yeah, I know. That's all I could think of, too. I'm like, there's Mama D with those, beautiful red locks, or Derrien with the long red locks. So, yeah, again, I'm jealous.
It's okay. The next time that you decide you want to go to the hairdressers and change up your hair, go red. We rock.
I've been red in the past. But Derrien, in that beginning, in that intro, I did mispronounce a word. I did pretty good. But
yes, you did great. In fact, I'm surprised you did so well with everything. Search for the Weirdrich. It's not Weirdrich, it's Weirdrich. The Weirdrich is the old ancient forest, and the most ancient part of the forest, and where the Elven nation live.
Okay, because I actually sent her that, and she told me that. I said, I cannot do that again, because I would still
about it. So good. You did such a good job.
I would still mess it up.
You did it, not me.
That was great.
Thank you. But I'm just so thrilled to have you here. I'm so thrilled. I wish I could have read more of these books. Like I said, I did get a little hurt sitting here reading on the computer, and I was changing chairs. I was really desperately, but I couldn't stop reading. It was so good. I just couldn't stop.
I have mixed emotions about that. I love the fact that you couldn't stop reading it, but it really, I feel very badly that you hurt your back.
Yeah. Well,
I think Gina's the only person in the whole entire world who can read a book and hurt her back doing it.
Honestly, I did. I put that.
But that's dedication for you.
There's a few other people. I'm not totally alone. But I have to admit too now, I took out all my dragons are around me, so I got all my
nice
dragons. This one here, they're looking through a mirror. I got dragons and wizards. I got all my castles. I was going to have my little dragon hanging off me over here, but I couldn't figure out how to put them on there. All these things, they're all over my office all the time. I mean, I love dragons, mythology, lore, all of it. See, I got so many of them. I mean, I'll pop up a few more here and there, you know, like my castles and everything. They're around my house. Because I've always been into this. I love it.
I love dragons. I always have. They're so unique. They're so powerful. They're so mystical.
Yeah.
Now, do you hear her accent? I don't know how this accent came because you were born in Connecticut and you're in Oklahoma.
This is an interesting thing. You want to hear the long version?
Sure.
Okay.
That explains.
We got 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I was actually born in Connecticut. My parents were born and raised in Massachusetts and New Jersey, but they were actually living in Oklahoma by the time I was born. My mother cross-country drove out there to have me and then cross-country back with a newborn because she didn't know anybody here, and they had just gotten here. And my mother, she's very special. I love her. And in the middle of the summer, anyway, so my mother's people are Danish. My father's people were actually British, and even though they were New England, I don't remember an accent. Okay, so I come to Oklahoma. I raised Oklahoma. Everyone said I made certain words sound funny, and when I was 18, I found out I had a hearing impairment. So I had sort of an Okie accent, sort of an Eastern thing going on, and this hearing thing. So then I go and live in Texas for about 15 years, and half my patient load are from Boston, the other half are Cajun. And so I have all of this conglomeration, and my brother tells me, God love him, he tells me that I am the only person he knows. We share things. I'm the only person he knows who can go to Texas with an Okie accent and come back with this.
Because you're special. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, it is perfect. And when we heard Mama, right?
Yeah.
When
she reads her book. Nobody else will ever be able to read these books as an audio. I know that you'll search because you got so many books. You've got 4 out now, 1 on its way, and 1 in the writing. So, and then there's how many more in your head? That's the question.
Well, they just keep getting pushed on. It didn't really have an ending inside it. It wasn't like I planned a trilogy or a quad. It was actually a series from the beginning. As long as I have ideas for it, and so far it's pushed out to about 10 or 11.
Yep. Okay. So now just to catch everybody up that's watching it, just joining in. Hi, everybody that's joining in. Love you all so much. Please share. Please go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Please. And for those, thank you. For those who are listening to just the audio tonight, we are going to be showing artwork. So if you want to see the artwork, and if you're listening now and you can't watch now, you can watch this archive later on Facebook. You can go to the YouTube and you can watch it there later too, because you're going to want to see this artwork.
Absolutely.
And the artist herself will be joining us in the second hour, so you'll meet her as well.
Yeah, I do words. She does art.
Right. Oh, and she does plenty of words. These books are not small, just so you all know too. It's an epic. of epic proportion. All right, if you guys like Game of Thrones, if you like Lord of the Rings, I mean, those things, this is up there with those. Totally and completely. I mean, as I'm reading, I see this epic thing going through my head, an epic movie, and not a little movie, not like, Joe Schmo and your cousin's cousin that makes a movie. No, this needs to be
Okay,
done.
my cousin was just insulted in there.
This needs to be majorly produced. All right, like HBO.
Okay, HBO, are you listening? Seriously,
HBO.
HBO. Hashtag. I'm gonna hashtag HBO. I
Yeah.
swear to goodness, when we do the YouTube, be prepared, HBO. Mama's coming for you.
Yeah, but Mama with the hashtags. Don't mess with it. because you see that red hair, right? She's like portrayed in this here,
It comes with the temper.
That's right. But these characters are amazing. The main characters, Dark and Storm, are sisters and fierce women, fierce warriors. We're going to ask her all about where these characters came from, what their inspirations were, and everything. But there is everything in here. If you watch that intro, if you watch that video, okay, and you've seen those 4 books, I mean, we have everything. There's sex, there's dragons, there's fighting, there's
dragons having
there's magic, there's God, and
there's fae.
The fae, there's elves, there's sprites, there's the Volcan, it goes on and on. There's water dragons, there's ice dragons, there's highland dragons, and there's another race.
Water dragons. There's the egg. There's the mystery of what's going on. There's the backstabbing. I read the first book. I only got to 2 chapters into the second book. In the first 2 chapters, so much happened. It was like, oh my God, that would have been a story all in itself in the first 2 chapters. But again, like I said, these books are like 360, 400, 500 pages.
Mm-hmm.
They're big books, but I'm telling you,
They're worth the read.
Wow.
I am at I'm like at page 40, 50 something. And I don't want to put it down, except right now I'm reading it on my laptop and my eyes are like, too cross-eyed. But
I've been told they're a fast read. I've been told that this is the kind of book that you can read all the way through and read it again.
Yes, it is like
I love that.
Yeah, it's like a very fine meal. You want to take your time eating it because you want to really taste it. You want to digest every part of this. Trust me, y'all are gonna love it. If you get it and you don't like it, I'm gonna smack somebody.
And then one more little tidbit I want to put in there. I've never seen so many Y's all my life in a book. Like, these names, I could not pronounce half of these names. I had to read a paragraph for me that listed all these names before, when we were just kind of talking back and forth. And I kind of had them all right, but I'm going to have her, before we go on, I want to have her read an excerpt. I'm going to you choose. All right. Where do you think we should start? And you guys are going to just love her reading. Oh my God. You're going to be enthralled. And then you're going to want the audiobooks, which she's working on.
Which I am working on.
Yeah.
We're up to chapter 14 of the first book in the studio right now. It's coming along really well. Well, first of all, I'd like to read the mantra of the entire series, Dark Legends series. It's a poem I wrote a long time ago. In Legends song, they'd praise our stand, tell how we fought the end of man. Come with me now and you will hear of how the evil one drew near. Too long the warnings were ignored, with just a few left to stop the horde. No, 'tis the truth that you will learn when these pages you do turn.
Don't you just love it? I just wanted
Don't you want to turn the page? Don't you want to get the book? Okay, don't forget, everybody, the books are available on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere you can find a book.
Goodreads, iTunes, you can find them on there too.
Right. And let me just show you what they are. Okay, there they are. Dark Legends is the first book. Death of Life, the second book. Search for the what now?
Weird.
Rich.
Weird Rich.
Just think weird.
And what's coming out? Battle of Winter's Edge has.
See, look at all that red hair she got.
Look at that's some of the artwork. I just
Oh yeah.
Little teaser. That was some of the artwork that's going to be. The first book does not have any artwork in it, but from the second.
It was not. Lisa and I. We were. It was our first book. My first book to publish. Her first book cover, and we weren't quite sure. We were figuring it out at the time, and we didn't put artwork inside the book. And the second book has 2 pictures. The third and fourth books both have 3. The fifth book she's working on now has 3 expected pictures inside.
Awesome. So this is Derrien's Facebook. Okay. So it's www.facebook.com/onedragondown/. Okay, that's where you can find her on Facebook. And that should be a .com. http thedragonwarrior.com/. We'll fix that by the end of the night. I'm not sure. So yes.
I think everybody will realize it's supposed to be .com. Okay.
I would hope so, but then there'd be people like me going, why doesn't that work?
You guys chat, and I'll go fix it.
Okay. So, all right. Let's just start from the beginning now. I think we got enough kind of info going out there to get people intrigued. So, what was it though that was the inspiration for creating Dark Legends, the series?
My father was a genius, and literally way up there, Mensa level. And he ended up with Alzheimer's. All my life, I had read fantasy and loved fantasy and dragons, and he was always very encouraging about this and mythology and all of these Viking things. We was just fascinated with all this, and he was very encouraging about that. Well, one day after he had Alzheimer's and it was kind of bad, I was sitting there with him, and he was pretty restless. And I asked him what was wrong, and he said, I want to do something. That's my dad and my mother, God bless her.
Mom right there.
He wanted to do something, and I said, well, what do you want to do? I read a book. Okay, well, I knew he couldn't read at that point, so I grabbed a book. This was the most engaged he'd been in ages. So I grabbed this book off the shelf. I don't even remember what it was. And I opened it up, and I started to read. Well, he was still restless. He said, no, that's not right. I want to have an adventure. Just one more time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And so he could barely walk because his knees were so bad by then. And I thought, okay, so how am I going to do this? So I just pulled from my heart, and all these words just started pouring out of my mouth, and I created this whole world, and he was the knight in shining armor, and he saved the damsel in distress, and we had swords and dragons and the castles and everything, and then I got to the end, and he said, no, that's not right. I said, what do you mean? You have to say, and they lived happily ever after, and I said, okay, so they lived happily ever after. Well, then my dad looked really funny, and he said, who taught you how to do that? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, who taught you how to tell stories like that? And I said, my father. He said, he must have been a great man. And I had to say, yes, he was. So, there you go. Sorry.
That is unbelievable. Oh. That is it in a nutshell, because you can tell that you pour your heart and your soul, and this is your universe. It is your universe.
Ever since then, it's just come to me. It's been, it's almost like a memory. It's like the characters are telling me what to write. It's been really wild. It's been
right.
Really fun.
Right. So either in a past life or guide that was in this realm is telling you, someone is telling you, because it is done that well. And like I said before, Mama, and I mean it, this should be an epic film. This should
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You can
Hashtag.
see it. Yeah.
Hashtag HBO.
I really hope that. I think it would be wonderful on the screen. I try so hard to make the scenarios, to envision them and to put them down, to describe them clearly enough so that people can see it the way I see it. It's so clear up here. And sometimes I get so frustrated because I just don't feel like I'm getting enough of it in there. And my friend, Ariel, who helps me with the formatting and getting it so that I can.
By the way, Ariel is on the YouTube channel. So
Ariel,
hey,
hi.
Hi, Ariel.
He is my knight in shining armor. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't have ever been able to publish. And he's in my acknowledgements every book, and he continues to be my knight in shining armor, but he once told me I was trying so hard to make the first book perfect, and I added and change and add and change, and he finally just said, "Look, Derrien, yes, exactly. Enough's enough. Just put it out there. And you can do something with it later. Just put it out there." So I did, and
it's an amazing book. And like Gina says, every book that you read. Okay, every book that we read from your writing, you can feel the love that this is not just a book. It's not a book. This is part of you.
It is.
Because when we first, I have to tell you, when we first met, when we first had our first conversation, it went for an hour, 3 hours.
3 hours.
We sat here for 3 hours talking, and she was reading the book, and she was talking, and you could feel the passion. In her words. You have a lot of people in the chat room saying hi. A friend of mine, Drita Marshall, she's sending you love because of with your dad's illness, because she lost people to that, and I lost my dad to that, so I know what that was like. So a lot of people do, unfortunately, know what that's like. So
yeah, that's a definite big fear.
But Ariel says hi.
Yeah. Actually, we can bink that up.
Yeah, we can put that up on there.
He's a brilliant man too.
So, if anyone has any questions, we can ask.
Yeah, pop it into the chat room.
And and if we don't see it, just put it in there again. But
my father,
trying to pay attention.
My father did inspire the story, not just the story, but he inspired the main character Griffin, the battle commander Griffin, who is Dark's father. He was the inspiration for that. My mother inspired Elana, the Dark's mother.
We were both trying to put up his.
Yeah, exactly. Ariel says it's got to come from the heart. Listening to others doesn't get you there.
That's right.
That is true. That is true. So again, all right. So all you people that are seriously just listening, if you're listening on Blog Talk, or if you're going to be later on listening to any of the audio links that we share to Anchor, that goes to all the 5 other locations that it goes to. If you're listening, go to the YouTube channel, The Fox Den, hosted by Gina Bankston, and watch the video, because you're going to want to see all the artwork and the book and us. You can want to see us. Little bonus.
And if you forget the name of the YouTube site, just hashtag Gina B, because I work the hashtags in there, and there's going to be something in there with Gina B, Derrien, dragons. You'll find us. You'll see us.
Hashtag Dark Legend series. Hashtag Derrien, Fox Den with Derrien. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I leave that to Mama D to do.
I'm taking notes.
Okay, so all of that. Now let's see. All right. Oh, is this the first that you've written? Or do you have anything else that you've written?
All my life I've written, but as far as publishing anything, I have had a couple of poems published, and I have some of my epic poetry that preceded the first novel. I have that posted on my website. You can just read it. Short story in poem form. That's but my characters were speaking to me, telling me that just wasn't good enough, and I needed to get it out in a book. So that's where that goes. So no, this series is my first actual attempt at publishing a story. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, but it's an amazing, for a first, it's an amazing
Thank you.
Yeah, now you have Dark and Storm. Dark is the oldest by a year.
Mhm.
And
I'm Derrien,
you.
and your Storm.
Storm. I'm a spoiled brat. Never can shut up. I love that scene. I don't know if you've seen that scene yet. When they're going to rescue Alana.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Go ahead. Trust me. I'll get there.
Dark is in with, and that's their mother. So Dark is in with the mother, and she's trying to convince her to leave, and her dad is in there too. And and Storm is out there fighting everything, and she can hear her, and she says she never stops talking. She's like
never stops talking. Storm is a very graceful swordsman. She is very defensive. She's a defensive swordsman, very graceful, very good, and she waits for her opening and she just chatters non-stop. Where did you learn to strike? Boy, you call that a power strike? This is a power strike. I mean, what is that weapon you're using? Might as well be a crackle sword. She just goes on and on. She won't shut up.
Well, thanks, Mama.
I like that. I like her. I'm really liking her.
Saying that a lot.
That's Storm for sure. She's taller. I envision Storm about 5'6", and lean. Whereas I envision Dark more my height, lack of height, 5'2", and curvy.
Yeah, she's. Oh yeah. Well,
we got the curvy going on.
She's small. You described her really beautiful.
No, because she's so short and she's such a good swordsman. She's very strong. She's been working for this all her life. And Dark's approach is different than Storm's. She's very aggressive. She's very fast. She's an aggressive swordsman. So fast she destroys her opponent almost before they know that they're being attacked. So that's how you win. And when you're short, you can duck and get out of the way. You can do things with that. You can take advantage of your height or lack of it.
Exactly. So that's put in there, and
it's nice to be petite.
Yes, and it comes in handy. And I've seen that once so far. I've seen that come in handy once. You haven't seen it yet, Mama. You have not there yet. But yeah, it does portray well. What was I gonna say? Oh, but they're special. They're unique. They're different than everybody else in the clan.
Yeah.
So they've been kind of being groomed their whole life, and they've been taught these arts of swordsmanship and everything too for a reason. I don't want to give too much away, but
give it away. They gotta read it. You're gonna give them bits and pieces, and they're gonna be like, "Wait, I want it."
They're the youngest. Dark and Storm are the youngest warriors to ever take the oath of the Brotherhood. They are 12 and 13 when they first take the oath, and that's they were studying. They were in training to be warriors, but they were thrust into it a little early, and then within 4 years after they took the oath, they hadn't even deployed yet. These are 2 young girls who had not even been deployed. They just kept training because they hadn't reached their full growth or had not come of age completely, and so they stayed at home and they worked and they did everything they could, and then here comes the Black War, and they are thrust into that, and then she's thrust into her
and their father and their father is the commander.
Yeah, so this is where they become.
Yes, and he has. There's an antiquity to him. People throughout the stories now. I have to tell people, watch for everything I say because pretty much there's a hint about something that happens later. There's a lot of people who have read my books 3-4 times. I'm like, really? You did that? And they said, yes, because every time I read it, I find out something new. I find something I missed, and it's never boring. It's not reading the same story over and over again. It's like reading a whole new story. I'm like,
exactly.
Wow.
Well, exactly, because sometimes you'll catch something in the second book. Now I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure that there's something in the second book that you'll sit there and go, Really? So you'll have to going back to the first book and going to the movies.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And you're gonna mark pages. You're gonna highlight things. Even on my PDF, I've got things highlighted because you can do that. There's a little tool to do that. And what's hilarious though is if you have talking text on your computer, and if you have a digital,
I tried it.
oh, that's hilarious. You can't do it. They butcher it. It's butchered badly, and it sounds horrible, and you're laughing, so you just so don't even try.
Okay, so I've only had one complaint. Okay, I hear an accent. It's probably my own. I'm not sure, but with these people, I hear them speaking in an accent, but I didn't want to write the book in such a manner with as thick an accent as I heard, because it would be too hard to read. And people wouldn't understand what they were reading. It would frustrate me. So I put in certain things. I did a lot of contractions, like it is tis, it was is twas. I mean, things that I figured wouldn't throw you off too much.
Right.
Instead of between, I try to get tween
and may have
cross and things. I try to do that to give people an idea that they are speaking in an accent and that it's a different world, maybe.
Yeah, and you can't even say a time period. It's a different world. It's crazy.
It's the past. It's the future, but it's the past.
Maybe
it's the future.
Now, how can
so far?
Figure
so
that out?
far,
and you haven't even gotten there very far.
So far, that's where I'm getting it.
Yeah, you haven't gotten there.
Okay. It's the future. It's what we're looking forward to as a human species. It's what we're looking forward to, but it's still in the past.
It's a medieval society that has developed since the last Holocaust.
The Holocaust, yes, because you don't know what the Holocaust is. It's the Holocaust is referred to and referred to and referred to, and then you didn't.
The last major war of these people of this world, and it was relatively short because most people didn't even realize they were at war, but it almost destroyed the world and all life thereon. And so these people gathered together and became a society and recreated the entire world, recreated their society as mostly a medieval society. And Griffin, being the talent that, oh God, as talented as he was with his background, which you'll find out toward the end of the first book, with his background, he was able to lead these people and recreate the warrior brotherhood, the dragon clan. So we have the warriors of the dragon clan who are the world's peacekeepers, who are the best, the most elite swordsmen in all Kedor, and they follow Griffin. Griffin is their leader, their battle commander.
But now these people didn't know the dragons were really around until
the dragons were a very reclusive race, and after the last Holocaust, they remained behind, whereas a lot of the other races, and which is why we didn't really notice them, a lot of the other races had to retreat in order to survive. Like the Elven nation, they were they're so attached to the nature and to the forests that they had to retreat because most of the forestation was devastated. So they were concentrating on their own survival, whereas the Highland dragons remained behind to help mankind's survival of this, and they also had some other help. They had the wells. There was a well. Every village has a well around which they developed their villages. They don't know where the wells came from. But they always have clean, clear, fresh water, never fouling, never failing, and it's an indestructible construction that survived everything, and so they used that as their fresh water, and they created their villages. The Highlands led them to these areas. The Highlands stayed behind, but only the Dragon Clan really knew for sure that there were dragons still around.
Right.
So
now the dragons are going to come and help this clan, help save man and all species against the Dark War.
Right.
Dark.
The war began again. The Black return. The Horde is gathering. History is about to repeat itself, and this time they won't be able to survive. So the Highlands decided, after much debate, that they would recreate arguably the most powerful and ancient of all magics, the life bond, which is a ceremony that they perform to life bond a warrior and a dragon together, their life forces, so that they can share each other's skills and gifts. The Highland dragons, well, magic is magic. All magic bearers can perform any kind of magic, but if you don't perform it correctly, disaster results. So certain races developed their forte magics, whereas the Highlands forte is in healing and in the link, the mind link. It's like telepathy.
So cool. Yep.
So they brought back the life bond magic and created these life bond teams. Dark was right up there first in line.
And she got the best dragon. She got the best.
And just remember, people, when you read the first book, pay attention to the bonding. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. They're paired up in the dragons. And what's really funny is I'm going to tell it in a second. Is about after the binding, the first binding, and the first dragon pairs. Who did the artwork in the book? Lisa Dixon. She's going to be with us in the second hour, and you're going to see some of her artwork. What you're seeing behind you, I did. Right? It's just kind of out of my head. What I did when I was reading the book at first is I'm like going, I got to make a map. I'm scribbling a map. I'm going, all right, so it's for the east, the west of the mountains, and and the port is over here, and the castle's over here, and the king is over there, and where
our whole world, the Southern Slips, the Razor's Edge, the Windsor Forest, the Volunteer Castle, Kingsgate Village. You've got the Great Plains of Derrien. You've got Derrien Village, Port of Derrien. You've got Port of Tuleve and Tuleve Village. You've got Dinborough Village and Port of Dinborough. You've got Raptor's Talons, the Darkling Forest, then there's the Sea of Dreams, the Island of Dreams, the Ocean of Fears, the Dragon's Tears, and then
let's put it this way: if anybody has watched, what was it?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, and as intense as that was, you're going to see this in a book. I don't know if Game of Thrones was ever a book, but you're going to see the intensity of everything in a book, and not even in just a book, in a chapter.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, that's what I'm saying. So you know what all these things are going on. So what's going on over here. You know what's going on over here, and at the same time, you know what's going on over here, and you know what's going on over here. Now, what I wanted to say about like the dragons and the warriors getting together, and people and the dragons, they weren't, this is new. They didn't do this before. So no one knew how to ride a dragon. No one knew what to use for riding a dragon. So that's why I put the little guy there hanging, right? Because
that happened a few times in practice, yes.
Yeah, they practice, they're swooping down and they're falling off the sides and everything. I could just imagine that being a hilarious scene, right? The dragons all have their own personalities, and
do the warriors.
As do and the matchups are great, and
they told me about themselves. I just wrote it down.
See how amazing is this? And so then it would here you go. Yes, it would be an unbelievable movie. It would be an unbelievable series, and it would be an unbelievable
hashtagging HBO.
Yeah, it would be more than one movie. It would be a series. It would be like what do you call it? Lord of the Rings. Have so many. It would be like that because you have the beginning and the middle and the end and the war and the
I think there's different timelines. The first book goes through about 9 months, about give or take. A moon is about a month. I don't use the word moon again so that you realize it's in a different place, a different time. But about 9 months. Death of life takes place in about a year. year and a half, a little over a year. Search for the Weird Rich actually starts is what happens to explaining some things that happened in the first book, and actually what is happening during that first book to these other people, and goes through and then goes beyond, so that you meet the end of Search for the Weird Rich meets up with the end of Death of Life, and it's just and then Battle of Winter's Edge. It takes about a year, I'm thinking, but Fangs of Solvingar, which is the one that Lisa is working on the artwork for right now, it only took about 3 months, 4 months of a timeline. And then whereas the book I'm writing right now, which is the Book of the Conqueror, is going through like 4 years. 4.5 years. So it's really, it's just what's happening and what I'm focusing on at that time. So yeah,
I can't see it ending. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's the thing. Like Game of Thrones, like what happened in that series. I think they lose it at the end.
They ran out of ideas.
Yeah, it's like their writers just, I don't know, they take a vacation. I don't know what happened.
No, that wasn't the author's story. He had books written, and they started with his books, but they deviated from them. And then they eventually, I mean, they pretty quickly went past what he had already written. So he's behind.
Yeah, so they lose it. But this that would never happen here. I mean, all you'd have to do is show up on set and you could tell the story. You know what I mean?
I feel like
because it's divinely inspired. It truly is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it just comes to me. It's never been a burden. It's never been a problem. I've never really had. Well, I don't think I've ever had writer's block with this story. It just keeps coming to me. At first it came to me so fast I couldn't keep up with it, and I would think of something, oh, that's really cool, but I couldn't write it down at the time, and I would lose it, and that made me so mad.
Yeah.
So I would take notes. My desk, if you see my desk, is covered. It is absolutely covered with sticky notes. And I use my phone apps. I have a voicemail app to myself, an audio app. I have a text to myself. I have a colored notes type pad thing. I email myself. It's crazy. I've written in my sleep. It's just crazy.
Okay, how many times have you written notes on your hand?
I ink all over, up my arm,
yeah. I do that. I used to do my shopping list like that because I would always lose the little pieces of paper, you know. That's how I get into the store and go, what do I need? And I come home with $500 worth of other stuff. Not anything I need.
Exactly.
But Arizona time 5:40 there. Oh, it is.
That's because Dave said timelines. It's 10:40 a.m. Friday.
Oh. Hi, tomorrow. Huh. That's neat. All right, so that just like threw me off. But all right, but now these characters. So we talked a little bit about Dark. We talked a little bit about Storm. We talked a little about the Commander. And I loved the words you used. And if you haven't listened to the show yet, go back and see what she said about the Commander, because that was perfect, priceless, awesome word that you used. And all right, who in your real life did you use for like inspirations for these?
Okay. Dark, Storm, and Freya are all me, basically. I have all of those characteristics. I was a tank when I was growing up. I was raised as I raised an athlete, not an elite one. I would never have gone to the Olympics. I mean, but I did much in the way of sports and individual sports. I was very strong. And then I had all those characteristics, all three of them. I just split myself up into those three people. Now, Griffin, of course, was my dad. Ilana, my mother, inspired. But my brother, my brother Regan, he may or may not be watching. I don't know if he's in the audience or if he will watch. He is so talented. My brother is he could talk forever, and people would be fascinated. My brother is exactly like the warrior Regan. He is so like that. He's so brilliant, and he has to keep going. He has to do all these projects, and he's constantly doing something. He's never idle, never. And he's very, very talented. He's a guitar player, so he's into everything. My boss, one of my bosses, Tammy, who may or may not be watching,
we'll tag her in it.
Bless her heart. She inspired the commander of the ancients, who is Temradeo. And Temradeo was the commander of the Elven nation forces during the War of Chaos. I have Celsius here, who is an elven skald who ends up coming into the dragon clan after the war began, and afraid that she would be the warriors didn't know that there were elves among them, so she was in hiding, but she came through, and that girl is actually inspired by a speech language pathologist friend of mine who is very much a healer and very much like the Kelsey is here, Kelsey. Then let's see, there's
what about Walker?
Walker. Okay, let me tell you about Walker.
Walker's a seer, young boy.
Walker was inspired, and I did a poem about him before I put him in the series. Walker was a friend of mine. We went to school together. That was actually his last name, was Walker, and he died of cancer. But I wrote a poem about him. I am Walker, and I believe that's on my webpage. It's not the best poem I've ever written, but I wrote it on the airplane on the way home, and I read it to him, and he thought it was great. But he had special.
He liked it.
He had special power. He could see things, and he had vision, and he inspired the seer, Walker, the boy seer. He inspired him. I loved him very much. Walker was a wonderful friend. His Rocky Walker.
Wow. So now, for you guys that are watching or listening, you see how it all comes full circle here? Like, what goes on around your life? Who pays attention to what? This is such a unique talent, and what a great ability to have, to pull from what is going on in real life into this world, and you form these characters that are just so real. They are so real. You really know these people. By the time you're done describing them, by the time you see them,
Oh yeah, in the next book, that actually in the Book of the Conqueror, one of the major characters is a friend of mine named Lisa, and she is inspired Relyea, who adopts all the old warrior dogs, all the old war dogs who were injured, or they're elderly, or their warrior partners were killed, and they're in the kennel. She works in the kennel. She helps them out. That's what she does in her spare time, and she adopts all these dogs. Well, my friend Lisa she works for the Boxer Rescue here, and she is just like this person, this warrior, and that's really, I'll be writing the story, and suddenly I see something in someone, and that character comes to life, and I'll start writing about them, and I've got 2-3 chapters written. It just comes.
I told her everybody she needs to have a fox race come in, like maybe a fox hybrid, something,
I do have a race of night beasts.
Derrien is all those. Yes, she is. She is.
Yes.
Hi, Sharon. Welcome everybody that's watching. Please share.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just say that we have 9 people in the YouTube channel and 8 in, and they keep varying, so people come and go, but we have 9 people on YouTube. Yay! Thanks, Ariel.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the YouTube is literally what, a month old for us. So thank you guys for going there. Thank you guys that have subscribed, and please tell your friends to subscribe. And especially for this show, because I want people to see it, even if they watch it later, because you can go there and rewatch. Because I want you to see the artwork that we're going to be showing in the second hour. So
it's amazing.
It's coming
you
up.
will realize. And what I like about the artwork, and I'm going to say it when Lisa gets on, is that, sometimes people, when they do the artwork for a book, like the cover, they don't really read the book. They don't get the book. But Lisa has understood your books. So you can tell that the artist
part of it
pays attention to everything. You don't have to just go, okay, let me read a couple of pages. Okay, I'll draw. You can see, because there's so many bits and pieces from different parts of the book.
So much passion, so much skill. It's just amazing to me. And she's an empathic
she
artist.
needs to draw a butterfly.
So explain it to you.
Yes, it's awesome. Let's see, we have a congrats and good luck, and a yay, Lisa. Yes, Lisa.
We'll be here in about 10 minutes or so. So stick around, Ariel. Don't leave us yet.
A little commercial break, and she should be here with us after that, and it'll be wonderful. Let's see, what else I want to know about the characters. Get writer's block.
What is the character that is we'll say the quietest, the little mouse that sort of surprises everybody?
Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Walker is. He's calm, he's collected, he's quiet, he's in the background. He has a great love for Freya, and Freya doesn't see it.
Okay. Now Walker, because I'm still in the first book, Walker is a seer, but most seers are by bloodline. And his parents, the people who are raising him, are not his blood parents.
Right.
Yeah, because they're like, when you have your children, if there's children with gifts, they're put into other.
They will put up for claim.
Yeah.
Walker is if they surprise you and come out of just any family, if they show the gift, then they're put up for claim. The elders offer them for any clan who needs a seer.
Right.
Well, Walker was the youngest ever claimed. He was the 13th child of an Outlanders subsistence farmer family, and they were glad to have him taken by Shayla the healer to go to the Dragon Clan, because the Dragon Clan is the biggest, it's the most respected, it's the strongest clan out there, and to be a part of the seer family, oh my goodness, yes. So he would be well educated, he would be well taken care of, he'd have anything he wanted. So they were very glad to have him taken once he was weaned. And the reason they knew he was a seer before he was even born was because Calla, his claim father and Shayla's maid at the time, had a vision of him, and he sent Shayla out to get him.
Wow. Everything has a precise point. Even Freya, and we talking about Freya, no one knew of Freya. Freya came into the picture like the sole survivor, so to say, of a situation. And so again, she is special. And she is special, like Dark and Storm are special. They're different.
Yes, they are.
And you need to read the book to find out why. And you're gonna
what kind of special? Not special like me, ish.
Not sure.
They're not like their brothers and sisters in arms. They're not like the other clansmen.
Yeah.
They're not completely like them.
No.
And that's because their father was different.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And another, Elana, is a full-blood Relyea. The Relyea are the witch women of had all.
Really been part of their life because she's been
She didn't know.
she's away, and yeah, you know what I mean. So, God, I love this story.
Yeah, I thought she was dead.
Ilana?
Oh, that one there. There we go. Yep.
Ilana survives.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Wait till you get to that scene.
Okay.
You can't stop.
Now go and read my book. See you later.
I know. You have to like, cause it'll be 2:00 in the morning. She'll be like, "Hey, you up?"
Gina.
Psst, hey.
Yeah, did it before. Gina.
It's like I'm sleeping.
I'd be like, it's a good thing I don't live close. I'd be like, throw the rocks at the window.
Rocks at the window.
Somebody be like, who the hell's outside? Where's Gina?
Oh my god.
I'll be like, go home. No.
All right, yeah, this is a good question. All right, now, what challenges did you have to overcome putting this together? You know, like a.
Oh, that's just because I'm stupid. I was ignorant. Actually, I wasn't stupid. I was ignorant. I don't think like a lot of people do. I think in pictures. I don't. And emotions. I don't think in numbers. I was very, very different from the rest of my family. They were very stoic, very New England, and very number oriented. Very, I could never think that way. I was very emotional and very emotion driven and picture driven. There's just something about, I don't know how else to describe it, but
You're a storyteller.
yeah, I'm a storyteller, okay. But when I first started, if it weren't for Ariel, I wrote the whole first thing. I'm not a geek. I dragged myself kicking and screaming into the 21st century so that I could use a cell phone. So
Yes.
here I am trying to use Word, all right? So I think I know how to use it. It looks simple enough. And I get the whole manuscript done, and I'm looking for someone to help me convert that to upload to publish. All right, so I'm looking, and I meet up with Ariel. Well, Ariel, God bless him. He to make a long story short, he ended up spending like 3-4 hours with me on Skype one day, helping me learn how to properly use Word, because I didn't even know what styles were. And I had to go back through my entire manuscript and fix everything so that it wouldn't leap around on the page and look ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Ariel, you and I talk.
Yeah, Ariel's really good. So
Yeah.
there was that. And then
I don't know that either, because like I told her, I said, I'm a reader, not a writer.
couldn't find an agent that wouldn't allow me to keep all my words in my book, or that would allow me to use my own cover art that actually has something to do with the book, with the story. Yeah. I wanted control, and I just like to have control. I'm redheaded. So there were so many challenges for me. And then the biggest one was that I was working full time. And my full-time work was more than 8 hours a day average, 9, sometimes 10 hours a day average. I did all the rest of this after that in the evenings or the next Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It is a mystery, isn't it? It's like, I don't know how that worked. But
Unsolved mysteries are always fun.
It did work. I'm really glad you did such a good job. He tried, Ariel, God bless him, he tried to teach me. He would say, all right, go to this link and read this. This will help you. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't figure this out. So he finally, after doing this, and this, he changed his entire tactics, and he presented, and that's where we ended up on Skype together. And he taught me how to do it in the way that I could understand. And I thought, you are the best professor I've ever known. You are awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mama,
I can't thank you well enough.
Mama teaches me in ways that I can understand after I swear about 50 times.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did that
she has.
too. Yeah.
I'm learning new words.
Yeah, I did that too.
I create new swear words. I combine them. I twist them. I make new ones.
Well, I also was going through a lot of stress. I found out that I had health issues, and I found out I lost my mother, and I almost lost my best friend. It was a very, very stressful situation and timing, and then I moved, and then it was like, oh my God, I can't believe how many things just kept changing. The only thing that kept the same was my story and my books.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. He's saying, "Ah, thank you." That's wonderful. See, every time I bink this up, you see the little red-headed swords, not sword,
Okay.
archer behind
I'm
him.
back in here.
That's you, Mama.
I'm in there. Yeah.
You're in there. Yes. This is me.
Well, I think we have to go to break.
Not yet. Not
Not yet?
doing.
Okay.
No. I want to do something before we go to break. I want
Shoot.
you to talk about your parents. You were just talking about your parents. Do you have the dedication that you wrote for your mom that you could read?
I do. The reason that that picture is up there is because at my first book signing, I promised my mother, we were living together for the last year of her life or so, and I promised her that I would take her everywhere on all these events, because she just was reading my first book, and she thought she had great faith in me. I don't know where that came from, but she did, and God bless her. I dedicated this second book to her. This book is dedicated to the memory of Roberta Jean Bobby Relyea, daughter, mother, grandmother, Dane, an amazing woman, a friend to many, a lifelong warrior, and the inspiration for Elana. After reading the first half of The Black War Begins, Mom, Derrien, this is really good. Me, rather surprised and somewhat puzzled. Thank you. Mom, do you have any more? Are you working on another? Me, oh yes, I've actually been working on several more. Mom, with an odd look on her face that haunts me still. Promise me you'll keep writing. Get those books published. I want everyone to see what I see in you. Promise me. Of course I promised. And less than 4 months later, she was gone. I love you, Mom. Not a day goes by that I don't think about you, wishing you were here with me. I'll keep writing. I'll keep publishing. I've got this.
Awesome. That is beautiful. That is so
And we will keep pushing her and poking her mom. So
and she looks a lot like her mom.
and she's red. So you know, she's
so much like my mother. It's amazing. Every day, I think every year, I get more and more like my mother. That was her high school picture, by the way, her graduation picture.
That's awesome. It is awesome. Well, I don't know where Lisa is at because she's not in our studio yet. If you want to try to get,
Renee, tell her to come.
I know we need her to come. We're going to show some of her artwork. But
okay. So I'm what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to go back to the green room, and I'll see if I can find her. I'll be back.
Okay.
You go find her, and we're going to just go for a quick little 3-minute break.
3 minutes. Okay.
The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The Easy Scan ghost boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure. And we're back, and we have a new
Look who we found. Go there.
Yay!
Hi, Lisa. Can I say one thing before?
Yes.
I almost forgot to mention, and she's going to kick my butt, is my niece, Tirza, who also has a huge part in the book, and you're going to
We get the picture.
read about her, Master Tirza. Oh, yeah.
Oh, first off, a quick shout out to Lisa's brother-in-law over in the YouTube chat room. David, thank you. And she's an amazing artist.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad we found you.
This is Lisa Dixon,
Oh,
everybody.
thank you.
She
And
is
you look beautiful.
Yes, you do. You look beautiful. I hope you're feeling okay. You were kind of under the weather.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Lisa.
Well, I am a Nebraskan. I am a mom and a grandmom. My husband and I have been married for 38 years, and we ranch. And on top of me doing graphic design and illustration and art.
Beautiful art. Okay, I am going to put up. All right, again, first of all, I'm going to show the books. Okay, these are the books. Okay, now you did all these covers.
Okay.
Right. And
Yes.
this is some of the artwork that's coming up in the other books. Now, explain what these two are. There's a bat hanging upside down and an owl going over the water. Now, I just put these.
Well, the bat. This is Bale. He is a character. He's a Nightwing in the book 4, Battle of Winter's Edge, and he's a very terrifying creature. I didn't even know that they really existed, so I just went off of Derrien's descriptions. And the owl scene, this is Corbin. He can shape-shift into an owl. He can also shape-shift into a raven and other animals. This scene is actually a scene in the book. Both of them are. But you have to read the book to find out which scene it is and what the bundle is on the bottom. Unless Derrien has already told you.
Nope.
No,
Not yet.
I have not. I have not thrown the salt.
I am very, very mysterious when it comes to that. My whole goal when I draw, whether it's a cover or one of the drawings in Derrien's books, is I give a hint of what's in the book.
Awesome.
So it's
And
yeah.
now this one's my favorite. There's my baby, my dragon. But tell us about
Okay, well, the wolf is named Relyea, and he is a character also in the book. He's kind of a rascal. He's
The figures. Sorry.
yes, he's a rascal. He's he's probably one of my favorite characters. I have a lot of favorite characters, but he's just full of emotion. I had a lot of fun drawing him. And the dragon is General Gunner. He is Dark's life mate. So he was also very fun to draw. Both of the drawings are done off of the descriptions from Derrien's book. I read the unedited versions of Derrien's manuscripts before they're ever edited.
I have to say, I'm just like into the reading of the first book. I'm a slow reader because, like I said earlier, to me, a good book, especially these books, are like a meal that you want to savor. So I'm taking my time. I want to suck everything up and taste it all. But I didn't realize that the dragon that you had sent me for this was Dark's dragon, and I was like, he's got a twinkle in his eye, just as the description of when he would like say things and she wasn't sure whether or not is this serious or is he trust me, when you read the book, it's like, oh, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see that face. That's okay.
He has a wicked
and that's all of him right there. That's the full version of him.
Right.
And who else?
This drawing, okay, the Anna, Princess Anna, and General Gunner, in full body in the scene, they were out of search for the Weird Witch, and Anna was a little more difficult to draw because she does depict one of Derrien's friend's daughters who had cancer. The daughter didn't, the mother did. And so I was wanting to do wanted to draw her because that's how I saw her, but as close as I could to her. And so I had never met the daughter. So I'm hoping Princess Anna resembles her.
She looks exactly like Anastasia. Exactly. So, of course, Anastasia does not have pointed ears, but trust me, Anna loved this picture when she saw it. It was her grandmother, who was my very good friend. I knew her mother, and I knew her all her life. And her grandmother died COPD, I believe. But she was a lovely woman, and Anna was going through a hard time, and she loved dragons. She was so sweet. I love that girl. She's way taller than I am now. Oh my God!
Wow, that's amazing. And then that is the.
I think everybody.
Olive Gunner.
Everybody's taller than I am.
Everybody is taller than I am.
Well, I'm used to being the tall one. You know, I had all some of my best friends were like 4'11", 4'9", you know, and I used to be 5'7". Now I'm like maybe 5'5". I've shrunk, but still, I'm still tall, you know. So I'm always the one, you know. Can you get me this and can you get me that? And good, I can't go to a grocery store without someone trying to get something from the top thing. But But height is a good thing sometimes. But being petite and
General Gunner.
that's
General
got
Gunner is in full body, and this is a scene in a. Both of them are scenes in the book. You just got to find out which scene.
yeah. But which books are these in?
Okay, Princess Anna and Gunner is in Search for the Weird Witch, and Bale and Gunner's portrait. They were in. Let me see.
I believe Battle of Winter's
Where
Edge.
were they in?
They were in Battle of Winter's Edge because
Okay.
Bale
All right.
was hanging from the
Okay.
cavern during.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I think
His eyes
During-
half open. That was one of his favorite hunting stuff. It's actually Bale's. This is a spoiler alert, but I won't tell the story. But it gives more meaning to the picture. Bale is about half as tall as a tall man, a warrior. These creatures hang on to their partners, their hunting partners, by wrapping their long tails around their waist, using their short back legs to perch onto the tail itself, and then they wrap themselves, they like hug onto the backs of their handlers and hang their head over the shoulder. So in mythology, you would think this is where that came from. A two-headed humpbacked creature is what you would see, and you wouldn't realize what it's a human with his nightwing, and the nightwings help them hunt. But see, Bale is hanging from the cavern ceiling during the battle, and the last thing he's black, it's dark up there. The last thing that these people see on this side of the veil is him opening his eyes.
That would be creepy. That would be scary. You know, so you would think that
And
this
that was what he intended.
yeah.
Bale does that on purpose.
Yeah. It's like I'm
Cheeky
saying.
little
So
boy, isn't he?
you gotta
She caught it perfectly. She yeah.
good job,
Lisa
Lisa.
did, yeah.
I mean, I'm an artist too.
Thank you.
I've never did book things. You know, I paint murals. That's what I really like to do. I like to paint big. I don't like to paint small. You know what I mean? I used to draw a lot though. Draw like you do, and I like pen and ink. You know, things like that. But you definitely have captured this. You know, like in my mind, in reading, that is how I picture
Yeah.
Gunner. You know, that's it. You know, I was like, wow,
Mhm.
really good. So yes, spot on. You know, definitely a great.
A question.
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
That's an interesting story.
Yeah, it is.
Christine Fian, who happens to be one of our shared favorite authors, was having a weekend thing with her friend Novak. Anyway,
Yeah, Brenda Novak.
Brenda Novak, thank you. I'm sorry, Brenda. Anyway, that they were having this
Oh, and Cherry Adair.
in Sacramento, and Lisa and I both lived in Oklahoma at the time. She moved away from me the day she was moving. The day we got together to do the art to figure this out. Anyway, but we both lived in Oklahoma, and we both ended up in Sacramento at this authors event, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
So in line, waiting for something. I don't know, to go in and buy a book or something and find whatever. And we started talking. Oh, I'm from Oklahoma City, and she goes, "Oh, I'm from Alaska or Oklahoma or somewhere. I don't know." I'm like,
Alaska.
"Oh." And I'm an artist, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking for an artist." Yeah.
Match made in heaven. A match
Exactly.
made in heaven. Now,
It is.
I'm not going to say if. I'm going to say when. When this gets picked up to be a movie or
By hashtag HBO.
would you, Derrien, ask for Lisa to be referred to for scenes
Absolutely. I would not leave her behind. She knows this story.
Look on her
She knows these characters. She knows the heart and soul of my stories. I feel like we're partners.
Aw, I think that's really nice. Don't you love that?
That's true. That's true.
You're so-
I love the look. I love the look on Lisa's face when she said that. She was like, "Oh."
Well, I depend on Lisa, honestly, what she thinks of the story. I will send her chapters that I've written and tell her, what do you think of this, or where this is going? And I'm waiting with bated breath to find out what she has to say.
Oh, I bet it's exciting, because it's your vision, and to see it like come to life, and someone else seeing your vision the way that you do.
Yes,
That's
it's very exciting to have that
It
kind of connection. It's a connection.
yeah, and it's a validation of your writing. So
Right.
so that's awesome. That's awesome to know.
Yeah, I love the books.
Now, do you, Lisa,
Um,
love, like, I mean, have you always had this love affair with like mythology and lore and dragons and things too?
yes,
Awesome.
yes,
We have our
yes.
own little clan going right here.
yes.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the Fox clan.
I've never been able to get into mysteries or anything else like that. I actually like paranormal and fantasies. So when Derrien sent me her manuscript, it was like, oh, this is great because I can read this.
Yeah.
And if you send me a fiction book, I'm probably going to set it aside. Or even a historical romance, I'll set it aside.
Mhm.
And because they don't,
I don't like that.
I have to have a dragon or a wolf or
Yeah. Which is
any of those.
Right.
A fox.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to do this.
I mean, it's like, I will say that,
I pulled this one up. See, now that needs to be put in there somewhere.
I will say that the drawings.
The little fox.
Ooh,
I love that picture. Yeah.
I love that. You have to send that to me.
Why are there no butterflies around it, Gina?
The pictures
You're in the movie.
are drawn.
With the butterflies. but
The
no,
pictures are drawn in graphic and charcoal.
beautiful.
The drawings are.
Beautiful. I used to make a mess. My hands would be covered with charcoal when I was doing charcoals. I'd just be black. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, charcoal drawing.
Mine are too.
Yeah. I showed up to art class one day. My art teacher followed me through all my classes, all my schools. Every time I changed a school, she followed me, and she used to submit my stuff in without even me knowing. That was a crazy
That was amazing.
But I came in with my arm sling one time. She goes, "Oh, you're not getting out of working." She said, "You got another hand." So I did this still life with my left hand. That's what won me a scholarship to the Art Institute.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew?
Can't.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it comes out of you. Art comes out of you, and when you pair up, like two of you have paired up, it's like.
It's meant to be.
It is.
I-
But Derrien, are is there any paranormal type stuff in the books ahead?
Paranormal, as in define paranormal.
Like a ghost, not supernatural, like ghostly.
The Fangs of Solvingar, you'll find. Oh, I can't tell you that one. Okay, so where can I go with this? All right.
I can't say we can't.
Just say yes.
The Keep of St. Swiftons you are going to find is an abandoned keep, and it's haunted. And you're going to find there are two different kinds of spirits within the keep. One that the children first see, and they don't seem to see them. And they don't seem to know, these spirits don't seem to know that they're spirits or that anything's going on. And then there's another spirit who seems to have total control of herself and knows what's going on, but not sure why she's a spirit. Yes, and that comes out in the second book.
See? And I had to stop reading the second book. I mean, I got 2 chapters in. So much has happened in those 2 chapters, and then my back went zing, and I sit here. I was like,
Okay,
no,
little comment from the chat room.
honestly.
Okay. Dave said Lord of the Rings was the first book that he was able to read all the way through. Dave, you will be able to read this book. Trust me. And I'm not, I love to read, but it takes me a long time to read. But sometimes books are like, I'll know in the first chapter whether or not I'm going to be able to make it to the end. In the first chapter, I was like, do I have to wait to the end to find out everything? Trust me. Get this book. You will love it.
I know. Yeah, do them in order. Do them in order.
Oh, yeah, do all.
Yeah. But it took me, this book, the first book, took me longer to read than normal because I would stop and I would draw a little map. I'm like, all right, I want to know where these areas are so I can, like, as soon as I draw it, then it's in my head because otherwise I'm dwelling on it. You know what I mean? It's how my mind works. I just, shiny ball.
You gotta scare them.
So I have to get it down and get it out. So, like I'm thinking about all the characters and their characteristics and what they look like and what they're wearing. And, then I'm thinking, all right, where are they putting all this stuff? Then they have these clothes and the clothes that they're having made and, and they're keeping these in these caves, but they have to go back and get them. And then all these things that they're losing and the things that they're gaining. And, so all these things are going ding, 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 ding in my head, and I picture them as pictures, as like if I was to draw them,
Right.
and it's such an amazing story. And now I'm really even more enthralled because there's going to be spirits involved, and that's right up my alley.
Oh yeah, the big part of this is the beyond and what's happening.
So,
hi, Renee. How sweet.
My long friend from high school.
Hi, Renee.
Loves you.
Yeah, there's a very spiritual part of this story, especially through the Keep of St. Swithin's, but not just confined there.
Awesome. So now, so I'm hooked even more now. I mean, you have a lifetime fan with me, and
thank you. That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I have to put it out there. I did say it while we had our 3-hour short conversation. And we came back again after with Lisa, so that was even more fun. As most of you know, I'm a deckaholic. I have 34 decks. I'm waiting for one more, so it'll be 35. I think this book, the characters need to be made into decks. I'm not sure what to put with them, but they need to be made into cards.
I think it would be awesome. I really do.
It's endless. The things that can be made, necklaces, all the, what I mean, all the things that could be done.
Yeah.
Marketing for this is.
Yeah. And how do I do it?
I need the deck.
I need the money. There's so many thoughts, so many ideas. Yeah. That's my love. And that would make an awesome necklace.
Yes, it would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it that. You know what I'm saying?
So have somebody who's a jeweler who works with metal well, just give them the picture.
Well, what I'd really like to do is get through Marty Magic. I'm giving her a plug because she does my dragons. I have a dragon.
Nice. So you'll have to give me her name because I'll hashtag her in the YouTube.
MARTY Magic, MartyMagic.com. She has I don't know what they're called, contracts, whatever, for different books, different authors, different stories, and different worlds, and more different things. She also did all the ear cuffs for Prince and all of his stage crew. Everyone who was, they all wore her cuffs designs.
Yeah.
She does some awesome work in metal and precious gems, and it's just beautiful. I really like her work now, and I wouldn't want cheap. I've always wanted quality, and that's why I love Lisa. I had to have Lisa as my artist. Had to be someone even. She because she loves me, she gives me a break. God bless her. But I really want, because I couldn't truly afford her talent if she didn't love me. So, but I would.
Lovable. She really is.
But I would.
I do.
I would want someone like Marty to
Cheers.
do this and come up with it. And I don't know how that works. That's my ignorance. I don't know how all that works.
But you know what? You ask questions and you find out.
I try, and then I have to go to work, and then I come back. But that's good. If I could just do this, it would be great. If I could slow down, that's the link. She has some awesome stuff.
I am on her page right now.
And she has some awesome stuff. But I lost my train of thought. I work, and then I have to go back and forth from that world to this world, and it can be a little.
Now, in this world, here's the question: everyone's so enthralled with your work and your writing, and I get it. But there's also a person behind the writer. So, what do you do as a day job?
I am a physical therapist. I work in home health. So I go to people's homes and I do evaluations, or I do starts where I admit them to the home health agency. If the nurse isn't needed, then it's just a PT thing. I give them PT treatment, so we determine what's appropriate.
Wait, can you come up to Canada?
I would love to I would love to do something there.
We're like the Brady Bunch here.
It's a
world.
It's a brutal job,
Yeah.
though. Working home health is not easy. People come into it thinking it's easy. It's not easy.
No.
It can be brutal. It's long. I drive almost 100. I average about 130 miles a day driving.
Oh.
Wow.
And since I work the weekends now, I get my 40 hours in 3 days.
In 3 days, right? Yeah, 3 days.
No.
Right. I mean, I sat here. This is why when I hurt my back is just because I sat in this position far too long. Like all weekend, I was working on the show, making background, doing this, doing that, and reading. So I just sat too long. So driving all that time, because we go great distances. Now you heard we
Right.
people.
And with COVID-19 going on, we have to wear a mask. We have to wear a face shield. It's difficult to breathe, but we have to do it. I work for a great company. I'm very proud of it. But I am getting older, and I would really, really like the opportunity to write more. I feel like I feel like I don't get to spend enough time in my world. That's the one I prefer.
I love your world.
I do too. Thank you.
Your world.
Whoa,
I don't know.
Lisa just went away.
We lost Lisa's
Camera.
Lisa, did you accidentally stop your cam?
Push the wrong button.
She hit something. But
Ooh, are we going to hear some swear words?
I'm
from
still
Lisa?
here.
we can hear you, and we can bring up a little picture over there for Lisa.
There you go.
I don't know if you want to try to come out and come back in. Let's see. Put you out.
Yep.
You're gonna have to come out and come back in yourself, I think. I would do the whole process all over again, Lisa. But anyway, now you also, since you got your jewelry and stuff, now you have some other artwork too that you started collecting. Tell us about that, dear.
I collect dragons. I have lots of little statues and dragons about my house, and I collect maps. I really like maps. I have the standard. I have the Middle Earth, and I have the Game of Thrones, and I have Hogwarts. Of course, who cannot have Hogwarts? I collect dragons. I'm surrounded by dragons and books. I love books. That's a passion of mine. Yeah, Yeah, and
Have you
my
seen it
dog,
from behind, Gina?
my rescue dog.
I got some dragons. I got some dragons going on here. Now these dragons, these are all just my pewter dragons, but I mean they're
My dragons on my
There
beautiful.
you go.
yeah.
Mhm.
I have dragon on the wall. I have dragons on my bookshelves. I have dragons everywhere. And then I have my
Like him.
And then
Lisa,
I have my
hold on a
rescue
second.
dog.
Lisa, can you hear me?
Ooh.
Lisa's gonna have to.
Okay, Lisa, I'm going to kick you from the room, so just follow the link and come back in.
Yep. Yeah. Do the same
I
thing.
still love you, even though I'm kicking you from the room.
She's kicking you out.
You can come right back.
Yeah, she kicked your butt. but yes, we do love our artwork, our dragons, our lore. Like yeah, it's all around my house. I show
I
you.
used to have, my mother went to a medieval show
I
event
have some
down
nice
here one time,
dragons.
and I used to have a dragon's eye, and it was blue because my mother got it for me because I have blue eyes, and I lost it, and I won another one.
I have some great dragons I've gotten at the medieval fair in Norman, Oklahoma. They're just fabulous. They're on like stumps, and they're really nice. And I've got dragon jewelry and art by Alia, I think, as well. I've got some dragon necklaces and hair pieces. They're kind of cool. Welcome back.
Yeah, we used to go to the Ren fairs all the time.
I love it. It was a lot of fun.
I'm back.
Yay!
Yeah, it's like
We
you
did
said
too.
you were from Connecticut and such. We used to have King Richard's Fair that was in Carver.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I would love to do that.
Oh yeah, we dress up, all that stuff. I almost wore my shirt tonight. I was like going, I have the nice.
Should I go there?
I have the.
Just a quick one. Bye, Sharon. Please take care of Zoe.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Did I put Zoe to sleep?
No, Zoe's not feeling well. Zoe is Sharon's cat. And
Oh,
the cat always watches or listens to and watches Gina. Unfortunately,
yeah, okay.
Gina always puts the cat to sleep. But
I
My
don't know.
dog just finally lied down. Laid down.
Laid down. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Keller. Her
Keller
dog
has
has.
her own Facebook page.
That's
yes,
right.
she does.
So
There we go.
find Keller
Yeah.
on Facebook too. Oh, she is a love bug dog. She's blind and she's deaf and
She's got such an adorable nose.
oh my god, she's a love bug. But yeah, usually you'll see her like if you go to Derrien's Facebook page, she does some blogging, she does some reading and such. She's made some videos. You'll see the dog. You see the dog behind you.
Yeah.
Her tail going around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. We have our
Lisa, we know what Derrien does as her day job. What do you do as your day job?
Yes.
And for anybody who's listening in the archives, I'm doing a quotation marks for the day job.
yeah.
Because you're
A
not
day job.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Actually, I am, but I also, my husband and I have ranched. We have cattle, horses. We have grandkids that are in 4-H and well, they're not in FFA yet, but they're in 4-H. So they show show heifers and show pigs and lambs and rabbits.
Awesome.
So we keep busy. We keep busy here on our place, and then we also we go to wherever our kids need us at the time. We use it as an excuse to see the grandkids. We have 13 grandkids.
Ooh. How many children?
Yeah.
That's a lot of grandkids. Oh my
We have 6 total, but we have 4 boys and 2 girls. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I only have one.
Busy household. Busy Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, that must be the best.
Busy Christmas. We haven't been able to get together. Our oldest granddaughter is in Japan. She is in the Air Force and stationed there.
Yeehaw,
So, and my her father is retired from the Navy, and her uncle right now is deployed in with this coronavirus. So he is literally testing people.
Front learning. Thank you,
So,
everybody.
yeah, it's pretty.
That's the one thing that
Mhm.
people keep forgetting. Thanks, everybody, for the service, frontline workers and military of all branches, because they are out there helping us.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's in the Air Force.
Yes, they
Wow.
are.
Yeah.
So, oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, she works for the VA.
That is so much fun.
Yeah.
And right now, I am staying pretty busy because Derrien, she's wants some work for her web page, and we are collaborating on a map for the 6th book that we're going to put in the book, and then we're also Derrien's doing a guidebook, so we'll have even more detailed maps in there. So she's going to keep me busy for a long time.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you doing on the
What I
webpage?
do.
I have plans.
Pictures of people and dragons.
Artwork.
You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to give a
Yeah.
glossary. I have to write
Yeah.
and tell people how to pronounce everything. And there have been, well, okay, spoiler alert, there have been 4 life bonds by the end of the 5th book. And 4 life bonds, that's 13 people. So that's 13 warriors, 13 dragons. There are colors, everything. I mean, I need to write all that down. So I think
Yes.
you know, the villages and the places and all the characters,
Right.
and everything. I need to put that into a guidebook, some kind of a handbook.
Definitely.
To the world.
Yes.
And I need.
Yes. It's
This is.
I have my own guidebook because I keep track of all that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm
Well, yeah,
writing.
because as the artist, you're going to have to, you can only retain so much stuff in your brain, and sometimes little things are going to sort of like poof, gone, and you'd be like, wait a minute, I needed that. So to have your own guidebook would be very important.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a question.
It is, but when I'm reading a book for like the one I'm doing right now, what I do is I don't pick a scene or anything else. I actually, whatever is speaking to me, I guess you would say, the strongest emotion, what's in my head, and like Derrien, I also draw in my sleep. So I design in my sleep.
Nice.
As well as on paper and on the computer.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
sleep with
it's kind of a process.
Yeah. Like I was telling you, that she would explain more. She's an empathic artist.
Yeah.
She'll have an idea of what she wants to draw, and that's not necessarily what comes out.
It does not mean it's going to come out the way that I think it's going to.
I know that.
It doesn't always do that.
Like I'll be painting a mural, you know, and you have base coats. It's one thing. You know, I'll be pro painting. It's base coats. It's one thing. It's not the finished product. It's not what it's going to look like in the end. So I have clients coming going, that's not what I want. It's like,
give me a break. Wait a minute.
Let it get done. When I'm done and you see it, then you can tell me if it's not what you're looking for. You know, and then they come in, oh my God, that's perfect. It's like, yes, but there are phases, there are steps, there are things that you got to go through. You know, it doesn't look like anything but a bunch of lines and this and that. And so you put all the details in there, you know. So I fully understand that.
Right.
But how come? Derrien,
I do a rough draft and then it just kind of draws itself.
Yeah.
It just kind of, I don't know.
Because she says it so perfectly, and you just envision it and you bring it to life on paper. It's
well, she has. Of course, you don't see that in the final or the final book, but the manuscript that I get, she's got all of her descriptions and everything in her little side notes. She's got lots of side notes.
I bet.
So I navigate.
Oh my
So
God.
when I'm done drawing and I give it to Ariel, who, by the way, had to teach me how to do
Oh, the formulas too.
some of the stuff for the book too.
He's
And he's
awesome.
really great. I got to tell you that he's really great. But I don't know what I would do without him, because if I don't do it right, I know about it. And so I'm just kind of like, okay,
Ariel's
I'm
gonna
a
be a very
student.
busy person.
I'll
Mhm.
keep going.
Harold's great.
Yeah.
As I said, Errol,
And
you and I got to
he's
talk.
pretty good about teaching me.
Ariel has
Yes,
his own
Ariel's
website.
pretty good about teaching me.
Ariel has his own production companies or publishing company as well. He is a magician. And
Put up the link in the
Yes.
YouTube, and we'll put it up.
Ariel's page, let's see, ginsengpress.com is his page.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
yes.
But I have to go back and reread the books when I get the books. That's why I buy the books. I buy all the books so I can read them.
Ah,
Because I don't know what's in the finished book.
Lisa, your niece Ashley is on.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. And my sister.
Oh,
That
very
was my
Okay.
sister.
Very nice. Hi, family and friends. Please share the videos. Please share the feeds. Please go to the YouTube channel and like and
Listen.
subscribe. Oh, right there. That's such beautiful artwork. Yeah, how come they're all light skin and red hair?
You know what? My dad had red hair and blue eyes. I have red hair and blue eyes.
Yes.
And when I originally thought of the story, I had a vision. Okay, and my vision was I was in a battle and I was standing there ready to challenge. I had my sword in my hand and my long red hair was flying backwards and my blue eyes were blazing, and I saw a huge black dragon at the top of this hill looking down on all the carnage that was just getting started, and I was going to challenge him and showdown. This is it. You or I. One of us is going beyond today. And that was it. And from there, I have the everyone and of course, since Griffin,
See that?
my dad, and Griffin is redheaded and blue-eyed, then the dragon clan just evolved into mostly fair-haired. Also, Vikings tended to be fair-haired.
Right, yeah.
Blondes, and that's kind of where I was going with it because I love the Viking thing.
I'm a Viking.
The dragon clan.
Yeah, I'm Finnish. I'm Viking. I'm told I have the Finnish nose, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. Yes. See?
I'm just happy that she didn't draw a really, really short person in her character, because then I know it was me. Because I'm only 4'10". So
my mother was 4'10". She was 4'10". Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my best friends growing up. They were like,
I had these tall guys, and I'm down here. Yes.
That's so funny. My one of my best friends, Angel, her husband, right? She was she was like 4'9", and her husband, I think he was almost 7 feet tall.
Dang.
Yeah, the wedding was hilarious.
That's some height.
Yes, I mean, God, she didn't even come up to like his legs were as tall as she was. It was crazy. But yeah, they were a fun couple.
Wow.
Snuggly.
Oh, craziness. Yeah. So, Ariel, you know what? Put your website in there so we can post it up there, please.
Yeah, because I can't find it. Otherwise, I would.
GIN.
Ariel.
G. Ginseng Press. Let's see. HTTP // ginsengpress.com. It's GINSENG ginsengpress.com.
Ginseng, like your taste ginseng?
Yes,
Ah,
ginseng.
ah. I should take that. I need that. I think we hit 50. We need to start taking that.
Yeah, we get to 50. We need lots of things. And it doesn't get any better when you go past 60 either. Trust me.
There he is. Cutie patootie.
But I don't know if I'm 56 or 57. I have to like add.
I had my best friend tell me how old I was because she's 1 year older than me. My birthday's in November and I turned 57 or 58, but I thought I was 56 and she kept going. She goes, "No, I'm going to be 58, so you're 50." It's like, oh shit. I missed the year somewhere.
Rob and I, our birthdays are one day away from each other. So when I turn 58, he's 58, right? So we're the same age one day, and then the next day he turns 59. Then he's a year older.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same age for one day.
Oh, wow. That is.
Well, like, okay, so the Dragon Clan or people after the last Holocaust, they live at least 100 winters, 100 years of good living until they start to decline. Unless they get killed in battle, of course, that could always happen.
Right.
But my people, I have them run older, so we're all like approaching middle age. Approaching. And we're adults, but we're approaching. There we go.
I'm still a teenager. And Ariel says, no, that's for my Chinese writing.
There you go, ginseng.
Med writings, yeah.
Oh.
Well, then, Ariel, if you want to get the right one, you best put the right one in there.
The other one.
I look like I'm playing around, child. Don't make Mama get mad now.
Redhead. She's red.
You read the
all
books?
redhead.
Read the books.
Actually, I'm blonde. I've been red. I've had red hair, but
She got red highlights. Deal with it. Everybody does. So every woman has red highlights.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, because hey, I love the.
I have a redheaded daughter-in-law that's just beautiful too. All of my daughter-in-laws are gorgeous.
That is fabulous.
Yes.
You've got a few.
Yeah.
Shoot.
All right. We're coming down to like 10 minutes left.
Oh my gosh, already?
Yeah, this is
okay. One thing, hang on a second before we go continue on. Is our show, the audio version of the Blog Talk, will end at 10 p.m. But if we decide to continue to go on, it will still be on YouTube and Facebook. So don't run away and hide.
Yeah, and also too, if we do go over, I'll play my exit thing for Blog Talk for the radio show to end and have that show end proper. But if we do stay on after that, if you feel like it, the audio for that as well will be uploaded to Anchor, and we'll go to 5 different other locations.
Yeah,
nice.
Just Blog Talk. So yeah.
Okay.
And we're 4 women, so we can talk all night long.
Especially
I do have to go to bed eventually. I have to get up in the morning and go to work.
Okay, fine.
Yes, really an hour day, and Mama's gonna keep me up till 2, going. Well, what about this?
No, I'm gonna read more book and make my eyes sore.
Oh, good. Yes, read more, definitely.
Oh my God, it's just so cram-packed. It's so cram-packed. Honestly, God. And if you guys just tuned in, you have to watch the beginning of this show.
You have to go back and watch.
Yeah, we tell you a lot about the books, a lot about the story, a lot about the characters. Not really too much about what's going on, but oh my God, there's plots and twists and betrayals, and
these are the books.
It's in there. Her world is amazing, and all these covers, all those covers there, they all portray specific things in the books. I mean, they're just beautiful, absolute gorgeous work, and when you read the book, you'll know what those things mean.
Yep.
And it's fabulous. It's just, well done.
Thank you.
This book, this next book that's coming out is, I think, probably the most action-packed, in my opinion. But it is, yes.
It is. It is very
good.
Short. It's short. It doesn't take very long, but there's a lot going
Right.
on. It's about a search, and it's about a search actually, in its own way. It's not such
Yes.
literature, but it is a search. And oh, Errol, yes, they are, aren't they? You did good too. But yes, it's searching for the fangs of Sylvangar, and they have to find them.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I really can't wait.
it's
And I'm getting the
it
hardcover.
is going to be fantastic. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then those next two I'm going to have to get too, and the book and the map and all the guidebook, all those things. I need everything.
Yep.
And then I have a special right behind me. See, right behind my head, right
We've
there
got 4 of them coming.
is going to
Both
be
of you.
yeah. That's going to be
And I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live open and reveal. So, waha, which I always do.
awesome.
I think the map is the
Stella.
first one that Derrien and I will be doing together.
Yeah.
As far as you write the books, Derrien, and I do the artwork, but these maps are a little different. They're a collaboration of the two of us putting our heads together and actually working by Skype and doing these maps.
Yes.
So yeah, it's actually we've already started, and it's very I don't know, I actually like it.
I do too.
I like doing this. This is the first time we've ever collaborated
Yes.
together on a piece of something. So it's
I usually just let her go. I let her go and let her do her thing, and I'm always it's always fabulous. I'm always excited about it. It's always perfect.
Did she share with you the things that I was putting up there? I was like, I was going to try to do a mock little map real quick, but I just couldn't sit and stay with it long enough. I'm trying to find the graphics that I wanted to think on there, like an old parchment like looking map and stuff. I don't know if she showed you.
Parchment?
Yeah. So I was like, I got to make a map.
I don't know if I saw that one. I might have been logging in and having a little bit of trouble tonight with the internet, but I'm not sure why. But you'll have to send it to me and let me see it.
Oh, I was just messing around. I was just like, thinking, oh, it'd be cool if it was like this, or like that. But I mean, I have my own vision.
Yeah.
I'm not stepping on any toes,
Oh, no, you're not stepping on any toes. I could tell you that the map is going to be unique.
Cool.
Right?
Right.
It's going to be unique. That's the best way to put that.
Right.
I'm a little mysterious, but I like a little mysterious.
Make a difference with all of this, the word.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Who's your favorite character? Lisa, who's your favorite character?
Well, I've got a couple of them. I love Krecha. She is a stone child. And I don't know if you haven't read her yet.
Nope.
You said you only read the first book?
Yeah, and 2 chapters in the
Okay, well, I love her. I love Storm and Derrien, of course. But I got to say that probably one of my favorite characters is Freya and Walker. But there's another character that is very fascinating and Corbin and Raya. But there's another character that is coming up in the book that I can't tell you about because you have to read the book. And Derrien's laughing. But I can tell you that she is very fascinating and very fun and very interesting to watch. And she's probably going to be my most favorite character.
Yeah. Which book is she coming in?
She's in this book in Battles of Winter's Edge, but kind of.
Are we talking about?
A hint is.
Are we talking about Freya?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we're talking about Storm. Storm's yes. Okay, yes.
And
She
yes,
is,
I know who you're talking about.
yes, she makes an appearance in this book, but she is in this book that I am currently doing the artwork for.
Okay, so that's book
And
5.
you'll start seeing her more and more, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
And I can't tell you her name because she's a mystery.
Yeah.
But
okay.
she is
book 5.
probably my most, yeah.
She's
She
fascinating.
is my favorite, probably.
Aw. Aw.
Yeah.
Ariel's his favorite character is Derrien.
That's so
I agree.
Yes, she is the one that I am watching really carefully. I also like Callie. She is the sprite guard. Well, she was. She was head of it. But she's no longer in the guard. I don't really. Do you
Callie,
consider her still in the guard?
Head
I don't
no.
consider her still in the guard.
She's
Yeah,
head no.
Callie. Yeah, I really liked her, and she is actually in.
She was in the first book. You've met her
I
already.
think
Callie
she's
Conrad,
in.
who is cousin
Yes,
to Martin.
I think she's in Sin.
But
And
her
then you see more of her in
story
here,
was Search.
or this one.
Search
This
for the Word.
one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
And so
Coming down
she's very interesting. I think I like all the characters,
No, that's good.
I'm
but
getting.
there is one I like. This one.
I'm getting that. But we're coming down to like 2 minutes. So really quickly, Derrien, who's your favorite character?
Oh goodness. I don't know. They all talk to me. They all have reasons to be my favorites. They all have personalities.
Yeah.
I get as I see myself as Dark, then I get to interact with all of them. So I love them all.
Awesome.
Love them all. Of course, the bad guys, I hate them really badly, and that's the point. You're supposed to hate the bad guys really bad. They're awful.
Then you know you're writing well. You know,
Yeah.
always got to be someone.
60 seconds.
Yeah, the Heart's not.
Yeah.
The Heart and the Sorcerer are probably my least favorite.
The Horde, and yeah. The Horde.
But without them, you wouldn't have the positives.
Exactly.
You have to have the negatives.
Derrien is amazing. Okay, we have a comment from Ariel that I have to put up and I have to read just before we go to the final of the show. Derrien is just amazing. I've watched her grow. It was wonderful to see her progress and her confidence build.
Thank you, Ariel.
And I'm sure you had a great part in this because you made her feel comfortable. Because she spoke your name when we were chit-chatting a couple of days ago for 3 hours. And time to go, people.
All right, I gotta play my little exit thing here.
Around.
Stay here.
Thank you for helping me.
You guys stay. Don't go. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of The Fox Den. We would love it if you would go over to our YouTube channel, which is The Fox Den, hosted by Gina Bankston. Please like and subscribe our channel and join us in the chat room there while we stream live every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
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 All right.
Later, Blog Talk.
All right, so we are still live on YouTube. We are still live on Facebook. This audio will still continue. I just wanted to make sure that we get that, that out there. And we won't keep you guys too much longer. But Derrien, what is the most important thing that you want people to get out of this series?
I think that people should pay attention to history. They should keep their eyes open and educate themselves on what's going on, current affairs. You can't hide and do one of these numbers when you see something that's going wrong. You need to you need to step up and do what's right. Even if you're the only one stepping up, you need to do what's right, do the right thing. Also, I think that people, I was very afraid. I had lots of fears. I had lots of, I was a slow bloomer, late bloomer. Everything I did, I was the oldest person in every class I ever took. And I was immature for much of my life and very naive. Oh my God, I was naive. And I think that's what Ariel was talking about. I have changed. I have grown. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. But in a way I am. I still have that person inside me. But I want people to know that you can do anything you really want to do. If to a point, all right? So I am not a feminist. I do not believe that standards should be lowered to include someone who is not capable of reaching the standard that needs to be done for that particular profession. All right, if I was the first girl on our high school swim team. So I had spurts of bravery, right? That was one of the things. Me and 27 guys. He had kept me, the coach had kept me off of the first 2 years of high school. But the third year of my senior year, I thought, okay, I'm just going for it. He can have me hauled away by the police. He can't stop me from trying out. And I turned out that we had 3 strings, right? I'm not trying to be bragging here. I wasn't that good, but I was pretty good. And I was in second string. So I was better. I was faster than more than over half the team. Okay, he had to let me on.
The perfect dark.
But he didn't have to let me.
Well, she said she was part of it.
He didn't have to let me compete. He should have. I could have lettered, and I did not get to letter, and that I regret. I was not brave enough to push the issue and compete, but I did make it on the team, and I did practice every single day, and I was a part of that team, and I did it. And at the end of the season, I went to every swim meet, and I timed because I wasn't allowed to swim. Okay. My coach turned around and after seeing some of the times that were beating ours because we didn't have enough, and knowing my times, he walked past me, and the only thing he said that was halfway nice to me the whole semester, I should have let you compete. Ha. That summer I got, they changed. I got an A in boys sports my senior year because our school system, the way it was done, okay? That shouldn't have been done that way. Yeah. I agree that there should be girls swimming and boys swimming. Girls should compete against girls. Boys should compete against boys. I'm just that way. That's the way I am.
As a boy, yeah, I did construction. I was out building the best forts you ever did see. I built log cabins in the woods. I built 3-tier freaking.
If you can do it, do it. I see nothing wrong with that. If you can make modifications that help you, like a different tool that you can use to make you effective, do it if that's what you love to do, okay? My brother loved basketball. Yeah. He loved to play basketball. He wasn't all that good at it. He wasn't bad, but he was never. He wasn't really tall enough. He wasn't really fast enough, but he loved it. And he was always going to play basketball. Is he going to be a professional? No. Should he be allowed to be? No. He did it as a hobby. Okay, so I probably got everybody pissed off after that. That's my fault. That's how I feel. I think you should do what you love to do what you do best, do it the best you can.
Right. But the thing is, if you do something that's a hobby, and if you do it to your best of your ability, and don't let other people say, no, like you said, no, you can't really do it. Do it to your best. You never know what can come of it.
Right. Right.
Well, my like I said, my art teacher following me through all the schools, right? Got me that scholarship. She always said, work in this. And I always said, no, I like to do this for myself or my friends or paint murals here and there. I didn't want to do it for work because then it's going to make it work, and not enjoyable. Well, I ended up doing it for work anyway because it was part of my, interior muraling and faux painting and all that kind of stuff. If I was broad, or if I didn't have the right painting, I'd do one, when I did a Cortis Mills. I did this big picture of the building, like an architect picture, to put on the wall because we needed that, you know what I mean, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would do what it was that I needed
Yeah.
to do. So my art teacher, I mean, she was happy that I finally, after many many years later, was working in the art field, art community, So she was thrilled with that. So that was nice.
That is nice. It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a little something, hang on, ladies, a little something in the chat room that I missed. I'm terribly sorry. Daniel Maffey asked, will the maps be available on Amazon? I think right now, Daniel, everything will be available. Right now, the 4 books are available on Amazon, but I think everything else will be as well, including the deck of cards.
We're gonna get it all together. We're gonna, yes. As soon as I figure out, or I have someone help me figure out how to sell like poster maps and how to sell, how to get into this kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need help in that direction. I need help.
Oh God. Yeah, posters would be posters of
Yeah.
Posters of the artwork that Lisa has done. Is awesome.
You get poster of Rider and Dragon. You know what I mean? Each
Yes.
Marketing is just beyond for this whole thing. And I mean, I have only a book and 2 chapters in, and I'm already like, oh my God. I can imagine by the time I get everything in there. I'm very interested.
You're gonna have a dragon corner.
Oh God.
That would be nice.
Oh God.
And there'll be more dragons.
Let me confirm. Let me reword that one. She's gonna have a Derrien corner.
I am. I right behind, right there is gonna be that middle shelf.
Oh, I'm already thinking because I ain't got no room on my shelf. I don't have a lot of shelves, but I'm gonna have to create a whole new one.
I am honored. Thank you. Thank you. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you two, and you, Lisa.
Yeah, I know. Opposite. So it's like I gotta point away from Mama.
Yeah, Lisa, you are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I have an awesome working partner. Derrien has grown. She really has. I have watched her over the years from the time that I saw her sitting on the floor reading some of her work at Christine Fian's thing. And I sat down opposite her, and she had this little cork that she was holding. I have a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you.
Oh gosh, yes.
But she's reading. She's reading, and we're all sitting there listening to her. I think a lot of us forgot what we were doing there, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Because it was very good.
Yep.
She has her books have just really just taken off.
That's how I want to end this show. That is exactly how I want to end the show.
Yeah.
I want you to read a part of that. The
first book.
The first book in the I always want to say forward. It's not a forward. The
prologue.
The prologue. God. And and after that, then I will let you ladies all.
Okay, so everybody sit back, relax, and listen to this beautiful voice read these amazing words.
With these rapid-fire revelations, the vision began to dissolve, and Doc reached out, trying to hang on to it physically. It was like holding water in her little hands. Slowly but surely it disappeared and was gone. Momentarily weighed down with the hardcore emotion evoked, she knew she had to tell her father about this. The clan would be drawn into some kind of alliance with the dragons, and she'd never even seen a dragon afore. Her mother was still alive, and Griffin would find her, but she knew not the outcome of the rescue attempt. They were approaching a war, and many would pass the veil in a bloody battle on their own soil. But there'd never been a battle upon the homeland. No one would dare such. And what had Tanner said about a prophecy? The vision had been so detailed, she wasn't sure how to prioritize the knowledge so imparted. It was not clear victory resulting. She struggled briefly, attempting to organize it in such a manner as to make sense to her youthful mind. Surely she'd not seen the end of the dragon clan.
Awesome. Oh my God.
Now this is the voice that's going to read it into my ears. I'm going to have both ears plugged up, and I want a copy of the audio.
I know.
It's in the works. I've read through. We have 13 chapters have been read. We're starting on chapter 14 on Tuesday.
And how many chapters are in the first book?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I tried to count them, and I was like, "God, I heck with it."
36-ish, something like that, I think, because they're not numbered. We didn't number them.
360 pages.
It's an amazing book. It is worth the read. Everybody who gets it, I swear it's worth the read. I mean, I'm only on page, I have no idea what, and it's like amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. And for
really
letting me be on your show. Thank you for letting me be on your show and for letting me invite Lisa. Thank you.
Absolutely. You can come back
Yes.
again. I mean, as the more I get
would
into
love
the stories and everything, I mean, I'd even love to do a special time with you, a special day,
Anytime. Just let me know. I feel really good about it.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, she was nervous. She was nervous about.
She was afraid of me.
Thank you for asking me to join you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, for being with us, and we're glad that we
Thank
your
you.
mind at ease, and that we don't bite much, Mama.
As I say, I'm too far away.
Yes. Yes.
But I do love you.
When I come down to the States, now.
You're fabulous. You do such awesome work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we are going to be trying to find some
I like yours.
Thank you. We're going to try to find some places that could help.
Oh, I would really appreciate that. Any help would be appreciated.
You know me, I'm hashtag the heck out of everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So I will say good night to you in YouTube and on Facebook. And hang with me one second, ladies. So good night, everybody. Please again go to the YouTube channel at The Fox Den, hosted by Gina Bankston. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell because you never know what we might come up with.
Like I said, I might do special time, special pop-up interviews, and have Derrien come back on again because I'll have 5 million questions to ask her once I get.
Oh, that'd be lovely. I would love it. Can't wait.
Get more into the story. I love it. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for watching.
Good night.